Diligence is perhaps the phrase most closely associated with Chinese people. Indeed, for anyone who has never been to China, it is truly hard to imagine just how hardworking the Chinese people are. During many years of living and working in Shenzhen, I have witnessed the Chinese people's passion for labor and business. If we talk about how hardworking Chinese people are, compared to neighboring countries like Japan or South Korea, I am quite certain that Chinese people are much more hardworking. Every lunchtime, when I go down to office buildings to eat, I repeatedly witness workers there burying their faces in their bowls to eat as quickly as possible before returning to work. Yes, literally, burying their faces in their bowls without paying attention to anything around them. And yet now, a portion of young people in China are lying flat completely and do not want to do any work at all. So what is happening? Okay, let's find out right after this. To understand why Chinese youth feel so disillusioned and have lost faith in life, we must examine the modern work culture in this nation of over 1 billion people. First and foremost, we have to mention the haunting 996 work culture. Simply put, 996 means working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. It sounds no different from the conditions of workers during Britain's Industrial Revolution. Yet the fact that this is still the standard in 21st century China is truly the most shocking part. No labor union, no matter how powerful, has been able to change this reality. In fact, 996 only became widespread in China during the past decade. It is closely tied to the explosive rise of domestic tech giants, such as Alibaba and Huawei, the most typical examples. The immediate question is, why tech companies? Aren't Western tech companies known for offering good benefits and relatively comfortable working hours for highly skilled talent? Yes. The simple answer is what Mr. Jack Ma and other Chinese tech CEOs have long promoted, elevating their great nation to its rightful position as a global superpower in the digital realm. They realize China is still lagging behind the United States by more than a decade in technology, and even further behind in innovation and productivity. So how can they catch up quickly? The obvious answer is to work more than twice as hard. 996 is the work schedule that encourages or forces employees to work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. As a result, workers put in up to 72 hours per week, nearly double the 44 hours stipulated by Chinese labor law. In theory, the 996 culture violates Chinese law, but many companies still practice it both officially and unofficially. On Weibo, many Chinese people say that working such long overtime hours is now normal. What is even more frightening is that people have grown accustomed to it and do not dare to protest, knowing it would be pointless. The pressure does not only come from bosses and deadlines, but also from colleagues who are still sitting at their computers working hard past 8 p.m. right next to them. Public outrage against 996 culture erupted in December 2019 when a 22-year-old employee at the e-commerce company Pinduoduo collapsed and died on the street in Urumqi, Xinjiang, at 1:30 a.m. after finishing work. Less than 2 weeks later, another employee from the same company committed suicide by jumping from a high building due to depression caused by overwork. These two cases are seen as typical victims of China's extreme work culture and sparked a massive wave of anger across social media. However, 996 is only one side of the story. Because to even work in such a high-pressure environment and adapt to 996 culture, you first have to get hired. And finding a job in China is truly not simple at all. Since the government first released youth unemployment figures in 2018, the numbers have never been as dire as they are now. The figures are so shocking that even the most pessimistic people are stunned. Specifically, from 11.2% in May 2018, the youth unemployment rate soared to a record 20.4% in June 2023. It has since shown some improvement, dropping to over 17% in 2024. This means roughly 1 in every 5 young people has no job. I was truly shocked when I heard this number. On Chinese social media, people are seeing more and more stories about graduates from a top university in Shanghai, ranked among the top 3 in China and 89th in the world, who had to send out 100 job applications. Some even sent up to 200. Yet they received very few interview invitations. Meanwhile, in May 2024, government agencies recruited for 200,000 positions, but more than 7.7 million candidates applied, nearly 8 million people competing for just 200,000 jobs. The competition is extremely fierce. Even though young people try their best, many still cannot find work. They also face heavy additional pressure from their families' expectations. And so, strange services that probably don't exist anywhere else in the world have appeared in China. Many Chinese men are addicted to dating virtual girlfriends created by AI. But you probably haven't heard of the fake office rental service. Yes, it sounds like a joke, but it is real. More and more young Chinese who have just graduated are still living with their parents. They have no partner to live with, no money to rent their own place, and in many cases, no job at all. That is why the fake office rental service has emerged. For 30 to 50 yuan per day, about $5 to $7, you are provided with a workspace, a desk, Wi-Fi, and free drinks. The only thing you don't have is a real job. The sad reality is that many people see this as a safe shelter from the pressure of job hunting. Some only rent it for one day just to take photos to send to their family. To cope with their parents' expectations, many young people use this service to pretend they are working a full 8 hours a day and continuously send photos of themselves working at the office. They say this gives them a sense of security. And the final escape for Chinese youth from the somewhat toxic work culture in their homeland is this. Instead of continuing to cope using fake office photos or making nearly hopeless efforts to find work in an extremely competitive market, they have chosen to lie flat. This movement started from a post on the Baidu forum, described as a rebellion by Chinese youth. The author, known as KH Traveler, wrote, "I have stopped working for the past 2 years and I don't see any problem with this. The pressure mainly comes from comparing ourselves with peers and the values created by older generations, but we don't necessarily have to chase after it." This post was later detected and completely erased by the Chinese authorities without a trace on all platforms. However, great ideas can always seep into every corner of life. This post introduced the concept of lying flat and ignoring everything, encouraging people to stop trying so hard in order to resist the country's famously harsh 996 schedule. The lying flat movement is believed to have exploded in Shenzhen, in southeastern China, the city regarded as China's new technology center and home to giants such as Huawei and Tencent. With around 18 million workers, most of whom came from poor rural areas to pursue dreams of wealth. Now, as economic growth slows, some feel exhausted because no matter how hard they try, it never seems enough. Unlike traditional Chinese migrant workers, who were known for being hardworking and resilient, millennials and Gen Z now prefer jobs paid by the hour or by the day, just enough to cover rent. These people have left long-term factory and office jobs to do work that gives them more control over their time, such as live streaming, casual chatting, or playing games. If we were to describe their lifestyle with a manifesto, nothing fits better than the now famous saying in the lying flat community: work 1 day, play for 3 days. Actually, I am not here to judge the youth of this vast country, because I have not walked in their shoes. However, there is one thing I realize. On its path of development, China seems to have pursued speed at the expense of its people's happiness. Could it be that the road to becoming a global superpower is so enormous that today's young generation no longer knows how to resist this harsh current and has simply decided to lie still? I hope my audience can share your thoughts and answers in the comment section below.